What if there was a mech wholly built to recover the broken ego of a clan military, in order to make themselves feel more accomplished and unique? Such a mech, in fact, exists. And exists to engorge what has become the diminished ego of none other than Clan Wolf. That mech has the misfortune of being named after the clan as well, another staple of perhaps the most protagonist faction in the setting. In this video, we will be covering the Warwolf. A 75-ton heavy clan omnimech, this machine would first start to see service in 3138, 5 years prior to the installment of Alaric Ward to the rank of Khan of Clan Wolf. First produced in an attempt to, quote, create an iconic heavy mech for Clan Wolf, following the enthusiastic devaluation of the Timberwolf by Clan Seafox. The Warwolf, in essence, came into existence to satisfy Clan Wolf's collective ego. While the origin of the machine may be wrapped in pitifulness, the question is then begged, is this machine a competitive and meaningful design? Its physical appearance and weapons configuration are wild departures from its precursor, the Timberwolf, but it is considered to be a favorite, strategically, of Khan Alaric Ward, which lends it credibility to some degree, at least in-universe. The Warwolf would perform in almost every major operation of Clan Wolf since its introduction, fighting against the Free Worlds League on the border of the now Wolf Empire multiple times, before being used to strike out against the Lyrans on their border. It would also be there for the invasion and capture of Terra, and the creation of Alaric Ward's supposed Star League, as well as just prior, destroying the Republic of the Sphere and Clan Jade Falcon. In the near future, it will undoubtedly see service battling against the Capellan Confederation. Due to the Warwolf being a clan omnimech, it will mean that it has a baseline level of equipment, such as its engine or armor, and then has a general pod space to be occupied by various sets of equipment. Because the Warwolf is a clan battlemech, it also has reduced tonnage and critical spaces for much of its onboard systems, which will enhance its effectiveness as a battlemech in comparison to many Inner Sphere designs. In theory. Unlike many other machines from this era, the Warwolf has no design quirks. Its internal structure is comprised of clan endosteel. Advanced clan technology gives the Warwolf access to the Starfire 375 XL engine, which weighs in at 19.5 tons, and allows the Warwolf to run an impressive maximum speed of 86 km per hour, or 8 movement points in the tabletop game. This is the speed of combat operations typically expected for clan battle line formations, and of course outpaces its Inner Sphere counterparts on average. The Warwolf also benefits in the form of its XL engine not taking up as much critical space, meaning the loss of a torso does not mean immediate destruction as it would with an Inner Sphere design. It can also use pod space to add in jump jets, but they are not native to the chassis. The Warwolf uses double heatsinks, but makes no inherent investment in them, entirely making this dependent on the Omni configuration used on the mech. This isn't inherently a bad thing, and it does offer the Warwolf more versatility, but it does mean that it is entirely at the mercy of the selected configuration on if it can manage its heat load or not. The Warwolf makes a heavy expenditure into forging BL2 reactive armor plating, more specifically 14.5 tons of investment. This gives it an impressive 231 points of protection. To add to this, it is more effective against missiles and artillery due to it being designed to lessen the impact of these weapons, hence it being reactive armor, though it is not effective against autocannons and Gauss rifles like advanced ballistic reinforced armor. It also has another quirk, which is that this kind of armor is vulnerable to internal explosions, and may lead to its plating blasting off the mech should it take damage in the wrong way at the wrong time. This means that even if unlikely, the Warwolf may be more vulnerable to incoming fire than its 14 tons of plating may be letting on. Making heavy investments in its engine and its armor, even for a clan battlemech, results in it having 30 tons of pod space to invest in weapons and onboard systems, including additional heatsinks. To compare these variants, one must understand that they may outperform some of their inner sphere counterparts, but this doesn't make them a great return on investment for the clans that operate them. The Prime is a perfect example of this. It is undergunned, even in comparison to some of its inner sphere counterparts. It invests in a Gauss rifle with 16 rounds of ammunition, which can be found in its right arm, as well as a targeting computer system for this weapon. It then goes on to invest in twin LRM-10 launchers, with no Artemis, and 1 ton of ammunition each. To attempt to defend itself from incoming attacks, it possesses a laser anti-missile system, and to protect against ammunition explosions, it has a Case 2 system for all of its ammunition. Finally, it installs an underwhelming quantity of 3 jump jets, meaning it cannot jump far enough to gain as much as it could or should. In essence, it's not maneuverable enough, and it's undergunned. The Prime variant is, in my view, a very disappointing machine compared to its peers, and its reactive armor isn't reliable enough to save it. Worse yet, every weapon system it has on board is ammunition dependent, meaning after 16 rounds of consistent fighting, it will have no means of defending itself further. This wolf, as far as the Prime variant is concerned, does not live up to its name, tactically or strategically. It cannot engage in war. Likely the best configuration of the Warwolf, the A configuration does its best to manage its weight on board, and tries to give itself a broad selection of weaponry, though it most definitely runs too hot to properly use all of its weapon systems. It increases its heatsink capacity by 4, giving it 28 heatsinks overall to handle the immense heat it might generate. For missile packages, it has an SRM-6 Streak mounted in the left torso, and a Streak LRM-10 mounted in the right torso, both with 1 ton of ammunition, and with a Case 2 to protect these systems and the mech. Where things get brutal are its energy weapons array. In its right arm, it mounts a Clan ER PPC, as well as a medium pulse laser. The PPC is a head clipper and a major point to break through armored panels on enemy targets. To add further, it has an ER medium laser in the head and an ER large laser, as well as an additional medium pulse laser in the center torso. All of these weapons together create an excellent assembly of damage, but there is one problem, which is of course it will struggle to ever consider firing anything like an Alpha Strike without immediate consequences. This is a configuration where the pilot will need to manage its heat very carefully to make this mech successful. But it can be successful. To describe the B variant as bad is an insult to the concept of describing something as ineffective or unappealing. Its only arms are an Ultra AC-10 with 30 rounds of ammunition and a single ER large pulse laser. It does get full jump capabilities for its size and engine, and installs 5 more double heatsinks. But it is stunningly undergunned for a Clan 75-ton mech, and has very limited versatility, despite having a decent amount of ammunition. It also reinstalls its laser AMS as well. While the pulse laser is accurate, it does not offset the extreme lack of weaponry, especially if the enemy opposition manages to close with it, and brings it into their own more ideal ranges. Once again, only jumping 90 meters, or 3 hexes, the C configuration wears its limited and insufficient jump capacity as a badge of honor. For its primary right arm weapon system, it has a large pulse laser, which is linked to a targeting computer. Beyond this, it has a pair of ATM-9s and 2 tons of ammunition each, along with a Case 2 system. It once again retains the anti-missile system and has 3 double heatsinks installed. Strangely, I feel the urge to repeat myself, despite its ATM systems, that this mech is undergunned, despite its accurate large pulse laser. It has a very limited use for a clan mech of its weight, just like most of its fellow variants. It is likely outgunned and outfought by multiple inner sphere designs, even at its ideal weight. It's so bizarre that this mech seems to have terrible configurations for a Clan 75-ton mech. The H configuration once more comes with a Gauss rifle with 16 rounds of ammunition. but has no targeting computer this time. It increases its heatsink total by 3, giving 26 sinking capacity. It then goes on to install twin improved heavy large lasers, each one generating 18 points of heat when fired, meaning that if this mech fires both of these lasers together and stays still, it will overheat by 10. If it runs and fires its Gauss rifle, it goes over by 13. Now, to mitigate this, for 2 turns, it has 2 coolant pods. While these short bursts of damage may be impressive when both of these are fired, there is no sustain behind them, and requires case 2s for the weapons in order to avoid catastrophic explosions should these be hit in any way. It also uses a supercharger to increase its speed, but this can at times damage its engine, meaning more heat on board if its roll fails, only compounding this mech's terrible heat problems even more. The H configuration is a short-term mech at best, and if it is stuck in anything like a prolonged engagement, or misses on its 2 turns of desperate fighting, it will rapidly be undone as it loses 1/3 of its firepower, unless it's willing to accept horrific thermal consequences. To be frank, this mech is a disaster. The Warwolf is everything an Omnimech normally isn't, especially a clan one. It doesn't leverage its advanced technologies correctly. It mostly uses systems that don't allow the mech the additional firepower needed to truly be effective, or it doesn't have reliable fire in general. It is most certainly undergunned for a clan mech of its weight, in almost every configuration, and in one configuration, despite being well armed, it is so heat ineffective that it essentially loses 2/3 of its firepower in a single turn. Even during the clan invasion, this mech would be lackluster. The Warwolf was built to satisfy the vanity of Clan Wolf and its cons, and bizarrely seems to have done so, despite it being at best a niche series of machines, or if I am fair, a boondoggle, and an underperforming asset. Find a clan warrior in the Wolf Empire and they will tell you they would rather pilot a Timberwolf, despite its image being somehow sullied by the more competent and capable technicians in Clan Seafox. The arrogance of Clan Wolf appears to go well beyond its boisterous interclan politics and its sense of smug superiority. It even infects some of its frontline mech designs. It is a wonder how they could win wars with such a weapon at their disposal. We'll call it luck, and not right or fiat, if that's alright with all of you. Thank you for joining me here today. If you enjoyed this video, please hit the like button and consider subscribing to the channel. I do updates very frequently and you'll be happy with the content, I think. Also, a huge thank you to all the YouTube members for this channel. When you hit the join button and become a member, you take an extra step in supporting the content on this channel, and I can't thank you enough. Because this content is only possible because of viewers like you. And with that, I will see you all in the comment section below.